Check one, check two, check one, check two, check one, check two. Hey, how's going on there, everybody? This is your boy Clint Clash, and I want to do this segment on what is sin, the power of true sin. And the reason why I want to do this video is because I want people to understand what sin consists of. It really consists of one thing. Basically, when you dealing with sin, because everybody gets sin confused. They take sin as cursing or things like that, or I don't know. Occupations could be a sin and that nature. We try to demonize people according to what they do for a living and stuff like that. And to me, I look at it in a different perspective. I don't look at that as being sin. My definition of sin is when you infringe on someone's will, when you're stopping someone to grow. That's true sin. And it's true sin because that type of behavior create what we call karma. So karma, if you look at the word karma, karma is the teacher of love. Karma teach you how to love. But most important, it teaches you how to balance self. So when you're dealing with karma is dealt with past sins. That's the thing that make your past catch up with your present and future. So that's karma's job. And a lot of times, we don't look at karma the same. We may judge people on things that have nothing to do with their karma. Now, let me speak about karma too, because you can have good karma and bad karma. It's also such thing as good karma, which would be the opposite from sin, from being a sinner or whatever. If you do good things, then that good karma will catch up with your presence in your future. So we need to remember that too. But the thing about karma is basically correcting the past. In astrology, you call these retrogrades. And basically, a retrograde is when a planet supposedly slows down. It's not a proven fact. It's still going forward. Some people say it's going backwards. It's not really going backwards. It's just its energy is slowing down. And the reason why the energy of that planet slows down, because the energy of that planet or whatever energy is being misused. So it has to balance itself. So it has to slow that energy down. It's just like you got to think of the universe as a parent to a child. And the best example is when you're a father, whatever, you have a daughter, you give her $100, she just come back and spend $100 like in 2 days. You like, how you spend $100 in 2 days? All right, look, I'm gonna have to give you $10 every day so you know how to spend it. So you got to slow your money up to get them to understand responsibility. That's what retrograding the planets are doing, and that's what karma does. It slows things down to get you to know how to balance yourself. That's all karma is. So going back into sin, a lot of times, to me, and if you want to argue with me, that's fine. You can comment below the video in the comment section. It's about infringing on someone's will, stopping someone to grow. Also, infringing on your own will, stopping your own self to grow. That's sinning. But that's personal sin. I don't think people should be judged on personal sin. We may guide people, but we should not judge them on their personal things that they may do to themselves that's causing them not to grow. That's a personal issue, because a lot of people probably need those type of things in their life because of the simple fact they may need that balance. What do I mean about that? For example, if you have a person that mistreated someone as a person that was wealthy, he might need to come back to balance that energy as being someone that's poor. And you trying to make them wealthy again is not in their being to grow. It's not where they need to grow. That's not their sole purpose, I should say. So a lot of times, people even in rough relationships, you might had a good relationship, and we talking about reincarnation here. We talk about past lives too. This can go in past lives. This can go into your recent life, whatever you want to consider it. But the whole thing is to go through these things and balance them. So a lot of times it's not really, and I'm gonna say this too, a lot of times for a person to think what sin is, or someone that's doing bad to go and help them, a lot of times it's not in your best interest to help them. A lot of times they have to settle out with the universe and settle through their own karma on things. And you will know, because you will continue to help this person and they won't be able to continue to help themselves. I done went through that a lot of times where I try to help people and they couldn't even help themselves. That's when I knew I had to draw myself away. And I have failed on that many times. I kept helping people. I forced myself. I probably gave up more than I should have gave up, but I eventually came to the conclusion, like, okay, this person, they don't, a lot of times they don't know no better. They need to go through this lesson to learn. I had to learn how to let go. And that's the thing when you dealing with people with sin. Sometimes you have to learn how to let go, because the more and more you help them, the more and more you are stopping, you are infringing on their will, because they need to go through this through their karma. And guess what? That will create karma for you, because you didn't learn how to use logic to understand to help this person. You didn't try to give them any advice or good advice. You just kept feeding them. And that's the thing. We don't want to keep feeding people where their life purpose is not to be fed. So we need to understand that. And then once again, I want to get to the main point of this video to talk about true sin. And true sin is two things: infringing on someone's will and your own. That's the two things that when you're dealing with sin. And once again, karma plays a big part in this situation, because karma is the teacher of love, and most importantly, balance. How that person can basically balance what they done in the past. So we need to understand that. And the most thing about it, that we need to really indulge in our own situations and sins before we go out there and help other people in the sins. Now I'm gonna say this too. You got other people that have to indulge in the collective, go out there and help other people in sins, because that's their karma. Now they might have not helped people back then. They might misled people. So this time around, they might have to go out there and actually use people to balance their karma. So let's remember that too. The thing about this sin and karma is you can't, and a lot of people do this, you can't take it to your own perspective, because you just don't know. And that's the thing. Being in a physical body, you just don't know someone else's purpose sometimes. It's not your purpose to know someone else's purpose. Your thing when you're around people is to see if you have the same mentality. You might find what they call your soul group. So that's the thing that people need to focus more on. But, and not judge people off of what they think is sin. And this goes into, I really don't want to get on into much get on religion, because I think religion can be helpful to some people, but a lot of times to some people they abuse it. So let's just get that understood. Just like I think some people need spirituality, but they abuse it also. So and the reason I'm bringing this up, because you might see somebody that might be drinking a glass of wine, let's just say, or someone that may listen to rap music. To you may judge that person because of that, which is, to me, is wrong. Then, because you got to ask yourself these two questions: is it infringing on someone else's will? And the second question: is it infringing on their will? Now, your answer be, okay, it's infringing on their will. Okay. Is it helping them to grow? Does it bother them? Because a lot of times when you attack people, music, sometimes drinking wine or whatever, it might be peaceful to someone, and you just infringe on their peace. So what does that make you? You got to ask that question. That's why it's always important, like they said, to learn the self. A lot of people want to jump out of self, go out here and be these teachers or gurus or whatever without learning their own self, their own shadows. Sometimes they scared of their own shadows. They see their shadows within other people and they attack other people instead of trying to correct themselves. And that's the problem. So you need to ask yourself that question. So you got to let people deal with things on their own. So not just judging them, also not feeding them either. That's wrong. And that karma can become your karma. That's how other people's karma transfer over to you. By you doing those two things. Judging them or either trying to feed them. And I see this a lot of time with parents. With their children. And I talked to a couple of people that went, that had similar situations. And I told them, I'm like, look, did you do all that you could do? And they're like, yes. You should be at peace with that. That person have to grow. If you gave a person all you can give them, and they continue to still go that route. Well, guess what? That's their destination. That's their journey to their destination. They need that teaching. A lot of times people need self-teaching. They got to learn things on their own. Because a lot of times when we try to force our perspective onto someone else, well, guess what? Those people will attack us. I see it all the time. When we help people out and then they turn around and steal from us. You're like, how can you steal from me? I've been helping you out for years. It's not your job to help them out for years. If you've been helping them out for years and they have gotten nowhere, you're doing much damage to them than good. It's time for them to go out there and experience reality, physicality. So we need to know what true sin is, and all this other stuff about people's behavior and the way they talk, especially me, because like I told y'all in my other video, I am from Detroit. My language is terrible, but that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. As you can see, I do these videos. I got some type of perspective on life. Good perspective on life. Doesn't make me a bad person at all. Should I be called a sinner because of that? I don't think so. I'm not infringing on anyone's will. And if I'm infringing on my own will, that's my own karma. Let me deal with it. Don't judge me because of it. That's not your job. Your job is to, whatever, if you're doing what I'm doing on YouTube or all these other people, or you on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, social media, and you're giving truth, then okay. Be good with that, with truth. So I want to say that, and I want to say thank y'all, man. Love and peace.